What is going on, you beautiful, sexy people out there? It is time for some Wednesday Hump Day Coffee with RW. Yours truly, Ralph William. So, without further ado, if you have your coffee mugs, your travel mugs, your sippy cups, your doggy bowls, if you have a beer hat and you want to drink it like that, then go ahead and do so. And join me in a sip of cafecito.
Excuse me, I'm choking on my coffee. Hey, does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? I just made a fresh pot of coffee. Does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? Does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee?
Having conversations about society, one cup at a time. Coffee with RW.
Un cafecito.
Pour yourself a cup and join us.
Es un cafecito.
Oh man, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling when you make it to the middle of the week. It's an even better feeling when you cheat in the middle of the week. And when I'm saying cheating, I'm talking about on my coffee. I usually have a a black coffee every day, trying to, you know, trying not to go crazy with the cream. You know how I love my cream, right? But today it feels like a special day, a day of who cares, a day of who cares. So today I just want to say, well, today I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for bearing with me in these crazy times. And as I take a sip of my creamy filled coffee, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, or I mean, you followed the station on Instagram, you saw a video of what coffee creamer I'm having, and it is called Butter Cookie from Khalifa Farms. Got a great smell to it. Mmm, delicious. Some butter cookie in this coffee, black coffee. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna spoil myself on a Wednesday, and I'm just gonna add that cream in my coffee. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So if you guys have yours, then join me. Enjoy. Savor it. Yeah. Nice and warm. It's got my belly nice and warm. Yes. We got hit with like a big rain last night, and I'm still getting hit with some rain, but it's nice and I don't know, it's starting to get to that point where when the snow comes, I'm gonna be hunkering down and slothing it out, and you can't get me to do anything. Well, depends on anything. Thank you everybody for tuning in. You're listening to Coffee with RW. Yours truly, Ralph William. You can follow me on Twitter at the Ralph William, and you can follow the station at WESN Radio on Twitter as well. I wonder if what Elon Musk is going to do now that he's going to go buy Twitter. Oh man, he's going to probably try and do some free something crazy like I don't know, free speech platform. Oh my god. I mean, you never know. You never know. So I'm going to be we're going to be going through um some crazy stuff on the stock market for those of you that are into the stock market. Of course, some crazy laws, the Supreme Court's, gas prices going up, the usual here on a Hump Day Wednesday. So I hope you guys enjoy and hang in there on this bumpy ride. What's going on, Mr. A? I hope you're doing good, buddy. How's the truck driving business? The only man that is up early. Well, no, not that. He's not the only man, but he's up there with my early risers. My early risers in the morning. Man, this coffee is good. This coffee is good. So let me get into the stock market because I feel like it might be important and it's kind of interesting. Interesting nonetheless. For those of you that are in the stock market, this might interest you and raises some questions. I feel it raises some questions because when you have a an anonymous entity involved, you know, your conspiracy brain starts going haywire. What am I talking about? All right. Well, we're gonna have this gentleman who I've used as a resource many of times in the past. Dave explained so much to me about not only the stock market but cryptocurrency, and of course, all the links that all the sources that I use, you can find them in the description box below. And let's get it started, man. It's pretty interesting stuff for the morning. I know it's early. Nobody wants to hear this stuff, but hey, it's helpful, especially if you have like an IRA or you're in the stock market in general, and it helps explain
Today's
things.
October 4th, and the stock market is surging higher. That's because there's a mystery buyer in town. So we don't know who it is, but it appears that they have an unlimited amount of money and they're buying heavily. It's as if these buyers can just print money. I wonder who it could be. Someone is buying up a lot of government bonds. And when that happens, when someone's buying up a lot of government bonds, the price of government bonds go up. And then the interest rates on those government bonds go down. There's an inverse relationship. So when the interest rates on the government bonds go down, the stock market becomes more attractive. So the stock market goes up. In this process, the dollar, it loses strength. So that's why you're seeing commodity prices go up. Take a look at the price of gold, look at silver, look at oil. They're shooting up over the past few days. So take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is rallying, it's going up because the dollar is weakening. To summarize the situation, a mystery buyer is buying up a lot of government bonds. This is causing the interest rate to go down. And then consequently, the stock market is going up, commodities are going up, and cryptocurrencies are going up. So it's funny how I mentioned that they're going to do whatever is necessary to prop up the markets until November 8th. After November 8th, they're just not going to care anymore, and then it's all going to fall apart. This little bear market rally that we're seeing here, it's going to be another dead cat bounce. It's not going to be as strong as the previous one that we just went through, and it's going to be shorter lived. So if you notice, the stock market peaked in December, and we're on a downward trend. As the stock market goes down, it's not going to go straight down. That never happens. There's going to be ups and downs. But as it's on a downward trajectory, you're going to notice that there's going to be lower highs and lower lows. So again, it's not going to go straight down. It's going to go in a downward trajectory, but lower lows and lower highs. On days like this or days like this, when there's a mystery buyer in town helping the markets, let me explain that. When the Federal Reserve is doing quantitative tightening, they're not removing money from the economy in a consistent, in a steady, in an orderly fashion. Some days they're going to be removing money. Other days they're going to be printing billions of dollars, buying government bonds. The hope is that they're going to be removing more money from the economy than they're printing on a monthly basis. So that's the hope. Sometimes it happens, sometimes they fail to do so. And it's not like they have any obligation to do anything. They're the Federal Reserve. They can do whatever they want. They have no oversight. They have no checks and balances. And as they clearly said that they can change their plans at will at any time. So if they feel like printing money today or if they feel like printing money all week, they can and they will. They don't answer to anybody, they can do whatever they want. And I want to point out that this is nothing new. It's not like I'm the only one that figured this out. So I'm going to read you a quote from Jeffrey Gundlach. So he's the billionaire bond investor. So this is a quote. Gundlach said, "The Federal Reserve has been manipulating markets for a long time. We've had a relationship between the Fed growing its balance sheet and the value of the S&P that's been in place for several years now, ever since they started quantitative easing. It's almost like a law of physics. If you take the capitalization of the S&P 500 and you divide it by the Fed's balance sheet, it looks like a constant." And as I told you before, it's not that hard to predict the stock market when you have a country that's running off central planning. So the central planners, they have to keep the financial markets propped up leading up until November 8th. So not necessarily up until that date, not necessarily up until November 8th, but just leading up to it. So they had to stop the bleeding and they had to just bring some stability to the markets. That's because they had to give the Democrats a fair shake on November 8th. After November 8th, they're going to go back to their plan, focusing and concentrating on fighting inflation. That means they're going to accelerate quantitative tightening. I mean, this is no secret. Tomorrow, I'm going to be making a video for you about the Federal Reserve's plan for you and me. So this is not speculation. This is what Jerome Powell.
So this guy, he's very informative, and I enjoy his content. And it's great to learn these things, especially if you like to play the market, right? So it's kind of like they're giving people in the stock market false hope. Of course, like he said, um, all up until the November elections, man, and it makes sense. So that's why you hear a lot of people who maybe are on YouTube or TikTok or whatever the case may be. Your your corner store guy from your bodega guy, your Wawa guy, your your quick check guy. You're probably hearing it from your mailman, your policeman, maybe your babysitter, maybe the IT guy from your office. I don't know. You're probably hearing it from a lot of people that after the elections, there's going to be it's going to get very bad in terms of how far your dollar can stretch and how much you can use. Of course, there's going to be a lot of scarcity. Now, I mentioned this in other shows, on other podcast shows, and etc. And on a side note, for those who are listening to this, if you want to join us in the chat live, download the Podbean app and look for yours truly, the Ralph William Podcast. If not, you want to listen to this anytime, of course, you can follow me wherever you get your podcast. But I mentioned this before in other shows on Podbeam is that, you know, not to talk bad about the United States, but we can be very gluttonous, in a lot of things. So a little shortage of some foods or some things, I mean, it's not as bad as if we were in other countries, right? Where real shortages causes real life and death situations, right? It's not like you're in Venezuela and you can get gunned down at any moment. Even though people like to claim that that happens here from law enforcement on a regular basis, that's really not the case. The poor here in the United States can still live, right? They can still survive. I mean, maybe I'm wrong with that statement, but come and fight me over it. So it might not feel as bad for the regular individual, right? But and for those who are preppers out there, have been waiting for these moments their most of their lives. But for the young individuals that maybe don't know what it's like to go through some hardship, or haven't prepared for it, this might seem like a crazy travesty or end of the world situation. Who knows? It depends on your upbringing, right? Excuse me, I need a sip of coffee. So not only is we're gonna have to worry about that, but apparently we got gas prices creeping up. And of course, I got a clip to explain this. See, I may not know a lot. I know I'm not a smart guy. I don't claim to be, but I do try and find the best information. I'm a facilitator of information, man. I try to make certain information easy and digestible for people to understand. Not only for everybody else, but for me, because I'm an idiot. But here we go with some gas price news.
Brace yourself. Gas prices could be shooting back up in the coming days and weeks, and everything hinges on a meeting that's happening tomorrow. OPEC Plus, which is the group of top oil producing countries led by Saudi Arabia, is meeting to discuss whether or not to cut oil production. OPEC Plus doesn't like that oil prices have been dropping dramatically in the last few months. That means less money for them. So when they cut oil production, that means there's less oil available on the global market. So there's less supply, and that drives oil prices up. When oil prices go up for them, gas prices go up for you. And the production cut they're considering tomorrow will really hurt because OPEC Plus is talking about cutting more than 1 million barrels of oil a day. That would be the largest cut to oil production since the beginning of the pandemic. Now, you may have noticed in the last few weeks that gas prices have been kind of creeping back up. There's a lot of reasons for that domestically, including planned and unplanned maintenance at U.S. oil refineries. But if OPEC Plus goes ahead with this 1 million barrel a day cut, that would hit our supply too, causing gas prices to shoot up.
So be prepared for that shenanigan, and also for well, for me, because I take Uber. I don't drive. There's just that's just the nature of the beast. So when taxi drivers or Uber drivers have to pay more money for gas, um, you know, eventually we're gonna have to see the brunt of it, right? If you're eventually, whether you're driving a car or not, it's either you're gonna get a price hike on Ubers, public transportation, or taxis, right? Because ain't nobody gonna eat those price hikes, right? They're gonna make somebody pay for it. It's gonna be us. It's gonna be us dealing with that. What's going on, everybody from the chat? I want to say hello to Tears outside of normal Russ. Thank you very much, Mr. A. I think I saw maybe DMAC in the chat. Some unknowns. If you're an unknown listener, if you're creeping in the background, hey, make an account and just join us. Or you can just creep on the WESN Epic Strategies Network. You don't need to creep on here. Just download WESN and you can creep all you want over there. There's plenty of things you can listen to over there. Also, you can find me on Station Head. If you guys are not familiar, you should download that. There's a lot of apps out there that we can do. And now I'm currently on um, a new app called AMP, trying to spread the information of this nonsensical morning show. But I recommend you guys go search for me there if you're on any of those platforms, AMP and also Station Head. But we always have a home first on the Podbeam, and my second primary home is WESN. So I want to say thank you for that. So I can't wait for Elon Musk to follow through on buying Twitter. Apparently, that's what's going to happen, and I wonder what kind of shenanigans are going to happen on Twitter. We can probably now post some crazy conspiracies there. I don't know. Maybe they'll wait on the elections. But anyway, speaking of election, I saw this, of course, on TikTok. I don't know if he's left leaning or whatever the case may be, but he's pretty much the individuals that hate on Republicans. At least that's what he's trying to put out there. But there's one thing that I can't really hate on. He mentioned, does anybody know? Because I just saw this briefly and I wanted to mention it, but I didn't get a chance to save it. Does anybody know a Republican who used to be an NFL player? Anybody in the chat know? He used to be an NFL player, but he was a Republican. I want to say he won in Illinois. No, I don't know. I forgot where he was. But apparently, he won, and I think he was a Trump-backed guy. But the main point of it is that he's already getting backlash because he and this is what politicians do, right? They like to take certain themes and run with it as their campaign, right? So he was running on the strength of he's pro life, right? Pro life, and he told to somebody that maybe they should not get an abortion, and he's gonna work on eliminating abortion or something like that in his state. I gotta find that clip. But anyway, the now there's a scandal where, of course, everything from his past is coming. This is what happens, right? Like, you can't escape your past as much as you want to because nobody's gonna let you. So apparently, in his past, which he was younger, obviously, I don't know how young, he forced or maybe he convinced a young lady to get an abortion, and he paid for it, and she showed the receipts and everything, and they put it out on the media. And of course, he's getting backlash from his own family because of it. So this is the problem when you get into these these types of debates or these type of issues, because you got to be willing to walk the walk, right? Because those things are going to come and bite you in the butt later on. He's in Georgia. Thank you, D-Mac. Okay, so you know I knew somebody had to know. He's in Georgia. He used to be a former football player, right? He won as a Republican. Okay, so that's just my main point. Herschel, exactly. Herschel Walker. Thank you, D-Mac. Herschel Walker, Dallas Cowboys. Thank you very much. Herschel Walker, Dallas Cowboy. Um, who he won as a governor, right? Governor. Good morning. Good morning, Duke. How are you? Good morning to you. Uh, Senator. I'm sorry. He's a senator. He's a senator. So apparently, so that's the gist of it. He won the senator seats from Georgia, and now he's getting hit with I guess you can call it a scandal of something that he did in his past, where he's here pushing for pro life, but he had someone in his past get an abortion in which he paid for it. And then you can find, and then they mentioned that his son, I think, blasted him on Twitter, pretty much saying that that he shouldn't have ran because all of his past is going to come and and bite him in the butt. Or he's running for senator against A new incumbent. Oh, okay. Thank you, DMAC. Thank you, DMAC. We need more people like you. We need more people like you to explain the complexities of elections because I sure as hell don't know. I recently found one of these. I found a video saying like I don't know, five or 10 ways to fix America or to get America back on track. And one of the main things that they said was, which sounds like a good idea, if only there was a way to foolproof it, right? But one of their recommendations is, what if we made everyone vote on issues and people all at once on an app on a phone, just and not have 350 pages of documents when making when passing a law, right? You just put the bullet points in an app and just have everybody around the United States just vote on it and make it true um, democracy, if you want to use that word. What's up, BP in the chat? Now, that sounds very good because that just makes it so simple, right? I don't want to have a full time job going in the Congress website and reading different pages of legislation that they're trying to pass. Even the ones that are crazy that sound interesting, right? Like I think there's a legislation HR 666 or something like that. That sounds pretty interesting. Go figure. But uh, if there was a guarantee that you can have these apps where there's no tampering with it, right? Like we already are. Everybody's already on edge with voting machine tampering, right? When it comes to the national elections, can you imagine uh, law passing in these machines, voting machines, or an app where everything can be manipulated? We get just out of just to give an extreme example, you would have your gun laws stripped completely real quick. Maybe not real quick. They would do it little by little so that not to raise suspicion. They'll be like, oh, look at this. Oh, 60% of Texans voted to ban all weapons in the state of Texas. They don't want to have the Second Amendment. Yeah. That's the only thing that scares me. It sounds like a good idea, but when you put it into practice, I don't know. It just seems it just seems iffy and icky. Speaking of iffy and icky, I had some pancakes yesterday, blueberry pancakes, and I try to pick the ones that don't have any egg or milk in it, and I got this one that just said just add water, and it tasted good, but I couldn't get it to that fluffy consistency, right? Like that solid fluffy consistency. It was like a hardened oatmeal. If I can maybe I didn't do it right, but anyway. Sometimes it sucks when you try to eat your favorite meal as a vegan. And it's like those organic, like, you know, less ingredient um the fewest ingredient pancake, right? But anyway, I digress. Thank you, everybody. You're listening to Coffee with RW. Yours truly, Ralph William. You can follow me on Twitter at the Ralph William or at the station WESN Radio on Twitter. And we'll be right back as we pay some bills. Thank you.
CaresNone.com. It's a clothing line, it's a lifestyle. Go to CaresNone.com. Check out their clothing line. It's fantastic. Use code DeGrayArea15 and you get 15% off. That's DAGRAYAREA 15 and you get 15% off. CaresNone.com.
Are you uncertain about what's going on in your life? Or maybe you're trying to help someone else out fix theirs? Then I recommend you go to wholeeshift.com. That's wholeeshift.com. WHOLE, another E, SHIFT.com. And get yourself a reading from Poetic. She's a Reiki healer and is very experienced in this area. So make sure to go to wholeeshift.com, get yourself a reading today, or you can get it as a gift card and give it to someone who might need it. That's wholeeshift.com. Let them know Ralph William sent you. That's wholeeshift.com.
Hey, does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? I just made a fresh pot of coffee. Does anybody want coffee?
Coffee with RW.
Wisconsin State.
I love it when the coffee kicks in and I realize what an adorable badass bitch I'm gonna be today.
Oh, yes. Hoo-ha. Hoo-ha. What's going on, everybody? I hope you're doing great. Welcome back. Let me see. What did I miss in the chat, man? I'm missing some beautiful comments from these people. BP is being nice and polite, saying hello to everyone. BP, speaking of breakfast and pancakes, man, what do you have for breakfast? Anything you want. The American people vote on. Just put it on American. What? Just put it on American. Yeah. You need milk, says Mr. A. Yeah. I mean, I just added water, right? I just added water to the pancakes. But anyway, it's some crazy shenanigans. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Delish.
I love it when the coffee kicks in and I realize what an adorable badass bitch I'm gonna be today.
And what today is, it is hump day. Today is hump day, everybody. We made it to the middle of the week and you guys are doing great. You guys are thriving and jiving and whatever those 50 words, those 50s type of words that I can throw out there. I do want to mention this for those of you that are listening in on on the station or Podbeam, whoever. Make sure to go give your happy birthdays to Mr. A. I believe his birthday is tomorrow on Thursday, and he's going to be sharing it with who's he going to be sharing it with? I think he's going to be sharing it with Eric or no, Eric is Saturday. He's going to be sharing it with Holy Shift, I think. What you mean, nah, bro? What you mean, nah, bro? I want to see you try and stay away from the bean and on your birthday. They're gonna say happy birthday to you. But also, make sure to go check out holyshift.com. The owner of that is Poetic. You can. It's gonna be her birthday as well. I'm not sure. I think it's the same day, or maybe other days. Who knows? But wish her a happy birthday, and go get yourself a reading from holyshift.com. Yeah, buddy. All right. So, do you guys remember? Well, you probably don't remember, but there is a whistleblower. Recently, I think it was on Fox or whatever. But I'm gonna be playing this clip that was released on November of 2020. This guy did I forgot his first name, something Bobinski, Wolwinski. Well, he'll say his name. You know what I'm not very good at details for some reason. But he did this little press conference in 2020 telling everybody about the shenanigans that the current administration is doing with China. And you would think that that type of information, would have been good for the American people to know, right? But of course, on Facebook, they shut that down very quickly, right? Because, they didn't want the other guy to win. But just to refresh some people's memory, I mean, I think some of this stuff mentioned uh, is important to know, right? Like if somebody is working uh, with a foreign country, especially one that's considered a rival, or maybe not even a rival, if you're in the mindset that hey man, they are all friends, right? They are all friends. They are all friends. They're just acting like they're enemies, right? Like some World Wrestling Federation type of deal. But to keep it from the American people, that seems a little problematic. But anyway, let's get into this clip that was released in 2020.
My name is Tony Bobolinsky. I served as a lieutenant in the United States Navy with high security clearance. My father and grandfather.
Before I continue, for some reason that name reminds me of like an 80s porn name. Bobolinsky. Bobolinsky kind of reminds me of the guy that had his member chopped off. Sorry. Or Baba Booey from the Howard Stern show. Anyway, I'm I'm messing around. All right, let's continue.
This country and abroad. I'm making this statement to set the record straight about the involvement of the Biden family, Vice President Biden, his brother Jim Biden, and his son Hunter Biden in dealings with the Chinese. I have heard Joe Biden say that he's never discussed business with Hunter. That is false. I have firsthand knowledge about this because I directly dealt with the Biden family, including Joe Biden. I have also heard that Vice President Biden said on Tuesday that Senator Ron Johnson, the chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, should be ashamed for suggesting that Biden family sought to profit from their name. Well, here are the facts I know, and everything I'm saying is corroborated by emails, WhatsApp chats, agreements, documents, and other evidence. And the American people can judge for themselves. I brought, I guess, for record, 3 phones that spanned the years 2015 through 2018.
That's more than a drug dealer.
These phones have never been held by anybody else besides myself. I was told this past Sunday by somebody who was also involved in this matter that if I went public this information, it would bury all of us, man. The Bidens included. I have no wish to bury anyone. I've never been political. The few contributions I have made have been to Democrats. But what I am is a patriot and a veteran.
Don't say that. You'll get canceled for
that.
that.
My business reputation, I need to ensure that the true facts are out there. In late 2015, I was approached by James Gilliar, whom I had known for many years, about joining him in a deal which he said would involve the Chinese state-owned enterprise, CEFC China Energy, and what he called one of the most prominent families in the United States. I was informed first by Gilliar, and then by Hunter Biden, and by Rob Walker, who was working with the Bidens, that the Bidens wanted to form a new entity with CFC, which was to invest in infrastructure, real estate, and technology in the U.S. and around the world. And the entity would initially be capitalized with $10 million and then grow to billions of dollars of investment capital. After months of discussion, I agreed at Gilliar and Hunter Biden's request to become CEO of the entity to be called Sinohawk. Sino representing the Chinese side, Hawk representing Hunter Biden's brother Bo's favorite animal. And between February and May 2017, we exchanged numerous emails, documents, and WhatsApp messages concerning Sinohawk and its potential business. On May 2nd, 2017, the night before Joe Biden was to appear at the Milken Conference, I was introduced to Joe Biden by Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. At my approximately hour-long meeting with Joe that night, we discussed the Biden's history, the Biden's family business plans with the Chinese, with which he was plainly familiar, at least at a high level. After that meeting, I had numerous communications with Hunter, Walker, Gilliar, and Jim Biden regarding the allocation of the equity ownership of Sinohawk. On May 13, 2017, I received an email concerning allocation of equity, which says 10% held by H for the big guy. In that email, there's no question that H stands for Hunter, big guy for his father, Joe Biden, and Jim for Jim Biden. In fact, Hunter often referred to his father as the big guy or my chairman. On numerous occasions, it was made clear to me that Joe Biden's involvement was not to be mentioned in writing, but only face-to-face. In fact, I was advised by Gilliar and Walker that Hunter and Jim Biden were paranoid about keeping Joe Biden's involvement secret.
Paranoid? Nah.
I also had a disagreement with Hunter about the funds CFC was contributing to Sinohawk. Hunter wanted $5 million of those funds to go to himself and his family, so he wanted the funds wired directly to an entity affiliated with him. I objected because that was contrary to our written agreements concerning Sinohawk. He said, referring to the chairman, his father, that CFC was really investing in the Biden family, that he held the Trump card, and that he was the one putting his family legacy on the line.
Bad choice of words.
He also said to me on May 17th, 2017, that CFC wanted to be my partner, to be partner with the Bidens. During these negotiations, I repeated to Hunter and others that Sinohawk could not be Hunter's personal piggy bank. And I demanded that proper corporate governance procedures be implemented for capital distributions. Hunter became very upset with me. CFC through July 2017 was assuring me the funds would be transferred to Sinohawk, but they were never sent to our company. Instead, I found out from Senator Johnson's September report that the $5 million was sent in August 2017 to entities affiliated with Hunter. Tomorrow, I will be meeting with the Senate committee members concerning this matter, and I will be providing to the FBI the devices which contain the evidence corroborating what I have said. So I will not be taking any questions at this time. I will not be taking questions at this time.
We're going to ask them anyway. Can you tell us a little bit more about this evidence that you're giving to the FBI?
The evidence sits on these 3 phones. I don't want to go into anything any further. This will all be discussed with Senator Johnson and his committee, and the American people can decide what's fact.
Who paid for you to be?
This was in 2020, man. This was in 2020. So, and that's funny. I like the somebody mentioned in the chat, why is he talking so aggressive? I like how the reporter was acting all aggressive. He was like, I'm not taking any questions. Like, well, we're gonna be asking questions anyway. Who are you to tell me that I'm not gonna be asking questions? But anyway, yeah. So this is that gentleman who I guess did that press release in 2020 in November. Now, apparently, none of that stuff was released, or I'm sorry, it was I guess blocked on Facebook, and a lot of people were denying it, but it was true. And of course, you can find him. I think he's I think he did an interview with some people's favorite on-air personality from Fox, Tucker Carlson. But the reason why I just decided to play is that information was like a while ago, and there's still people here denying that was even true, right? Tears says he he answered a question. Yeah, I know. Yeah. You should just never say I'm not going to take any questions. Just walk away. Just walk away. It's like when you get into an argument, you just walk away. That's just how it is. But what do you guys think, man? Oh, well, maybe DMAC or what's up, fair use? Oh, look at that, coming for blast from the past. Fair use in the chat. Pew 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 pew. Um, with acquiring, well, with Elon Musk probably acquiring Twitter now. I wonder if that's going to be changing soon with blocking of information, information, right? But hey, we'll see how that works out. The Underground Shuffle, what's going on? The Underground Shuffle, you guys can find them on YouTube, Twitch. Um, what was the other platform you guys use? Streamlabs? Streamlabs. And now you can find them on the Epic Strategies Network, WESN, on Friday nights. You can check them out there. Putting some tunes up that you might not have heard before. So make sure to go check them out. Follow them on Twitter and all that good stuff. Yeah, streamlabs.com is our merch website. Oh, okay. Oh, you got okay. Streamlabs has merch in there. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought that was a broadcasting thing. But anyway, you can find them now on the WESN on Friday nights. Check them out. The Underground Shuffle. Follow them on YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. So yeah, these are the things that tend to puzzle me. Uh, if Elon Musk is going to be taking over Twitter, if information like that is going to start being readily available to people on a regular basis, right? I'm not sure how the technology works, but I guess he's gonna. One of the things that he released, I guess in passing, if he would have acquired Twitter, that one of the things he would do was to make it. I think he said make it open source, right? Like the algorithm open source or the code open source, whatever. But but all I say is, for all you elites out there, prepare because, well, who am I kidding? We can put. There's so much information out there on how certain politicians are the most crooked and all the heinous things that they've done, but yet you don't see any uproars of anything happening, right? Maybe in like other countries, right? Where, well, in Iraq, right? Was it Iraq? Where the people hung supposedly. Well, they probably did. Hung not Osama bin Laden. What's the other guy? I forgot the other guy's name. Saddam Hussein. Where they freaking hung Saddam Hussein. They hung him. That's extreme, but I mean, it seems like people are not at least certain people are not held accountable. Um Here's a headline that I found. Here's a place for these elites to hide. There's a seems to be a new uptake in underground bunkers for the for the people that can afford them. A Swiss firm which which supplies fortified underground residences has unveiled its new L Heritage Bunker. Ooh, L Heritage Bunker for ultra high net worth individuals. Maybe like maybe Musk, or probably Musk will probably build his own. Who else? People from the World Economic Forum, most likely. Um, Individuals who want to ride out the apocalypse. Oh man. Bathed in the lap of luxury. You guys can find this. I'm sure you can Google this and find it. It looks kind of nice. It's like a whole new. It's like a whole new house underground. It's like a house underground. The company, the company, Opidum. I think that's how you pronounce it. Oppidum. Opidum. Commissioned French architect Marc Prigent to design the sprawling underground. I mean, those types of places I think are pretty cool, man. But how many people can survive being underground? Well, I think I like lived in my room for about a year when I, when I first got a PlayStation and started to go online, just playing Call of Duty. I'm going out on a boat, says Mr. A. Gee, which boat would that be, Mr. A? I wonder which boat that would be. The Freedom Boat? The Freedom Boat. Oh, you've paid your okay, you paid your $29.99? Okay. Good. That'll seal your freedom, buddy. That'll seal your freedom. For only 2 payments of $29.99. Hey hobo. How are you? Hope it's a Dexter boat. Oh, nice throwback. It's your Dexter boats. Yeah. I've heard people mention about the well some of you might know on Podbeam the individual that by the name of wasn't it Raccoon? Well, it's not even Raccoon. Other people say this. It sounds like common sense, right? If you're in a bunker and if there's a way for people to get access to the airways, right, that goes into your bunker, like they can just shut that down and pretty much smoke you out, right? You'll be forced out of there, right? Unless there's another way that they've made these bunkers to not have to deal with that. But hey, more power to you. More power to you. Hey, Tears, I'm drinking that coffee creamer that you mentioned. I think if you add enough creamer, it's doable, right? But it leaves like a really crazy aftertaste. I don't know. I don't know. So let's see. Yo hobo says fair use. Am I the only one who? This is tears in the chat. Am I the only one who doesn't see fair use? No, I mentioned fair use. Fair use is back in effect, man. he's uh he's been in his own little bunker. He's been in his own little bunker. Outside of Norma says there are ways to there are ways to have air filtration that draws oxygen from the air. Oh, okay, from the soil. All right, well there you go. Leave it to those smart preppers out there. I didn't know anything. Hobo is saying having lemongrass tea. That's actually pretty good. Actually, I like lemongrass tea. What is it? Or mint tea. I think it's pretty good. It's minty. Well, I believe in honor of fair use's appearance here. I mean, I think it's time for us to take a little break, right?
Fair use is hugely important.
Hey, come here. Listen. Get close. Can you hear me? Are you wearing your mask? Did you get your vaccine? Damn.
Hey, listen, you're not listening around for your podcast when he's live. There's something seriously wrong with you. You gotta get yourself checked out. Go ask Dr. Fauci.
What a moron.
Hey, are you looking for a company that provides welding services? You need to create a container home? Then look no further. Go check out HernandezMobileWelding.com. That's HernandezMobileWelding.com, a licensed and insured welding company that is located in the Florida area. Make sure to give them a call at 954 347 4071. That's 954 347 4071. They are based out of Florida for all your welding needs. That's 954 347 4071. Hernandez Mobile Welding.
Having conversations about society, one cup at a time. Coffee with RW. Pour yourself a cup and join us.
Good morning, everybody. Did you know if you replace your morning cup of coffee with a nice hot cup of green tea, that you can lose up to 87% of the little joy you have left in this life?
Oh boy. Raccoon, we were just talking about you. It's like you were listening. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to Coffee with RW. I hope you guys are doing well, having your cups of coffee with yours truly. Also, make sure to go to epicstrategiesnetwork.com, and help support the station, help keep us running. There's a donate link there. So do that. You can follow us on Instagram, WESN Radio. Also on Twitter, WESN Radio on Twitter. And yeah. Hobo, thank you for sending me, what is that, a song that you were sending me from Bollywood? Sounds nice. All right, I'm gonna have to go check it out, buddy. I'm gonna have to go check it out. So, like we were mentioning earlier, when I was talking about you, Raccoon, I was saying that I think it was you that mentioned those people that are living in bunkers. They there's ways to smoke them out, right? By just clogging the airways. But then you have Russ in the chat from Outside of Normal. You guys can follow that podcast, Outside of Normal, saying that there's ways to to run air filtration through the soil, or just air through the soil. So hey, I learn something new every day. Bloodwood. I'm sorry, Bloodwood, not Bollywood. That's something else. Bloodwood. All right, yeah, man. That's cool. I'll probably play that. I'll probably play that later on. I appreciate it, Hobo. Minister, how are you, Minister? Thank you very much for tuning in. DMAC, okay, he's talking to Outside of Normal. Right. So, I mean, there seems to be a good uptick in luxury underground bunkers. We'll see how that goes. Anybody hear about a missing submarine from Russia? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody missed that? Anybody missed that? But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. After a glass of tea. Huh? After a glass of tea, you're gonna do the do? You're gonna do the do? Mm-hmm. When do you start the Mountain Dew? Oh, after the tea. Okay, okay, I got you. Okay, so I have this article from AI Shannon, but I don't think I want to play it. Ah. It's pretty much going to go through I guess a case from the Supreme Court on big tech and the Article 230, right? Thing. I don't know if I want to play it. Well, it's gonna drown people out, but I'll try and make it quick. This is an article from AI Shannon that I found going through court case um, on people's. You'll listen.
The Supreme Court on Monday agreed to hear a case that threatens tech companies' broad immunity to lawsuits over content hosted on their platforms. The case marks the first time the highest court will weigh in on Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act that protects platforms from being sued over most third-party content on their sites. The court will decide in the case of Gonzalez v. Google LLC whether those protections are too far-reaching when it comes to recommendations of terrorist videos from Google's YouTube. The decision follows split federal appeals court rulings on the constitutionality of state social media laws, which could also be heard by the Supreme Court this term as well. In the Gonzalez case, the court could rule that platforms would not be allowed to use computer algorithms to recommend content to users, something that platforms like YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook rely on to generate ad revenue and increase user engagement. The answers this term may very well dictate whether or not we recognize the internet in the future, said Eric Goldman, a law professor at Santa Clara Law School. Gonzalez v. Google LLC centers around the family of Nohemi Gonzalez, who was killed in an ISIS terrorist attack in Paris in 2015. The family sued Google, the owner of YouTube, for allegedly assisting ISIS by hosting ISIS recruitment videos on YouTube. While Section 230 protects Google against liability over the third-party posting of videos, Gonzalez's petition alleges that Google recommended ISIS videos to users. The question before the court is whether Section 230 grants immunity for recommendations made by algorithms pushing certain content for users or if it only applies to editorial changes, like content removal, made by the platforms. That dichotomy is incoherent. I think it's a false dichotomy, said Goldman, who also writes an internet and marketing law blog. I think that anything that's considered to be algorithmic recommendations is and always has been part of traditional editorial function. There is no distinction. I think that Section 230 applies to them equally. The Gonzalez family had appealed the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision that affirmed a lower district court ruling that Section 230 provided liability protections for Google's recommendations in the case. Justice Clarence Thomas has been alluding in previous dissents on other court cases that it is time for the Supreme Court to decide whether Section 230 provides tech companies overly broad liability protections. Thomas has previously written that social media companies should be regulated as a common carrier, like telephone companies, and therefore would not be allowed to discriminate based on the content they carry. Tech trade associations were quick to defend the merits of Section 230. These cases show the importance of content moderation. Without moderation, the internet will become a content cesspool, filled with vile content of all sorts, and making it easier for things like terrorist recruitment. Chris Marchese, counsel at NetChoice, a trade group representing Google, Twitter, and Facebook, said in a statement. Scottus also agreed to hear Twitter, Incorporated v. Tomna, a case claiming that Twitter, Google, and Facebook were aiding and abetting international terrorist acts by distributing ISIS content on their platforms.
All right, so I know that was painful. I'm sorry. This is what I don't get. I put a video up on my personal Instagram where this young lady was making a observation how I guess the ruler of Israel or whatever, I think it's Israel, I'm not sure, or Iran, I don't know, where there's a complete media shutdown, like its people cannot use the internet at all, right? Which is what you can do in a dictatorship country. That individual was still able to tweet, was still able to use Twitter, right? But everywhere else, Iran, thank you for use. Iran, but yet it was still able to publish things on Twitter. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of like double standards things happening out there. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Speaking of Iran, I wonder if there's a lot of protests going on over there. That's because of how they are connecting. Fair. That was from Fair Use. What do you mean? How the people are connecting? Oh, if you don't use the government internet. Oh, okay, I got you. If you don't use the government internet, it's like what? It's like if they go to the public library to use the internet, they can't. But I'm sure if everybody had their own private phones, they can still use it. I got it. I'm assuming I got it. I'm assuming I got it. Iran controls the telecommunications. Okay, gotcha. Fair use, man. In effect, knowing the all-knowing coming through, coming through to a theater near you. Excuse me. I do want to mention what do I want to mention? Oh, I got this nice sweater, this hoodie from Shannon Lynn Jordanson. So if you guys want to make one or want to get one for yourself, if you want to promote your business or if you want to promote your podcast or whatever, you can hit her up on Instagram or Twitter. Shannon Jordanson 55, I think. I keep forgetting. Maybe she should have her website up. I think she should have her website up this week, where you guys can reach out and get her conspiracy clothing connection, gear. She's supposed to be doing like a small little website, so make sure to go look for that or hit her up and find out what's going on with it, and get yourself your own little customizable gear or whatever gear that she has available. So make sure to go check that out. All right. So I'll open up the phone lines. This seems like a good time to open up some phone lines and let you people air out your grievances for this fine morning. And I just want to mention just be cordial, professional, all that good stuff. Please no harsh languages. And you get by calling in, actually by being in here, you give your consent to be broadcasted. So it is what it is. But on that note, so how is everybody going to be planning their Hump Day Wednesday? Fair use? Anything special for your Hump Day Wednesday? I'm surprised you're on. Oh, thank you very much, BP. He says at Shannon 570. What is this on Twitter? Oh, okay. That's a Twitter thing. Wow, I thought that was like a WhatsApp. You're on vacation? Oh snap! Fair use finally took a vacation. Fair use is finally on vacation. Everybody, let the let the uh let the coffee flow from the heavens. Yeah, might as well take it now, right before the hectic season starts. Same old. Raccoon says. Raccoon, I don't know if you've ever mentioned where you're from, but are you a voter? Like knowing everything that you know, right, about the players of the game and all that stuff. Do you still feel the need to vote? Is that something that you still believe in? Fair you says starting a new rule. Oh, okay. Congratulations, bro. I guess that's a good thing. Starting a new role in your where you work at. Hell yeah, buddy. Good stuff. Shannon Lynn Jordan, 1968 on Instagram. Thank you, BP. Everybody, make sure to go hit up Shannon Lynn. For those of you listening on audio, it's SHANNON Lynn LYNN Jordan JORDAN. You know, like Michael Jordan. 1968 on Instagram. Make sure to go hit her up if you want to get your own either customizable gear or gear that she already has on hand. Right now, we're going to be welcoming in Raccoon 6. What's going on, Raccoon? Oh, what happened, Raccoon? There you go.
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? Good morning. How you feeling?
Morning. Oh, not too bad.
Have you had your cup of coffee?
Yeah, I've got a big 32 ouncer here.
That's the start of a good day. All
I'll
right.
finish off about 3 of them or 4 of them today, depending on how busy I get.
Ah, that's always a good thing. I usually go through like maybe one small pot of coffee in the morning. You know,
This thing
not the
holds about
big
a small
like
pot.
yeah, not the big like 15 cup things. I just have like a little mini one that I like to
Oh,
go through.
come
It probably gives
on.
me like three cups of a Yeti mug worth of coffee. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
this
What's on
one
your?
here
Let me.
is,
I don't know if you heard the question, but I asked you like, what do you still consider knowing what you know? Do you still believe in the voting system or voting in your
well,
area?
you know, I research these guys. I get out there and talk to people and find out what they think about other people that are running for office and stuff. And then I look into the histories that these people have. And I'm very
By when you mean
selective
these
about my
people, you mean
voting.
politicians, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Uh huh.
anybody who runs for office, if it's coming up for a vote, I'll take and research the who, where, and why they're getting into office, and then I'll go and talk to people around to see if they actually know what the person's entailed into. And then I'll also look at the history the person has as far as how their political beliefs are. And I'll even talk to them sometimes. You know, and these are low level politicians, you know, the mayors and shit like that. But I try to find out what they're all about, talk to them. I don't get into you know a verbal contest with them. I just ask them simple questions and stuff about what they're doing and what they believe in and how they plan to run and things that they don't normally tell people.
So
And if
we're
they don't meet my standards, I don't mark anybody down, you know.
so we're on the
But we
call
need to
with
do that.
hold on, Raccoon. So we're on the call with Raccoon 6 right now at the moment. What state are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Montana.
Montana. So you're saying that you go around and talk to those that are running, right? Or just those politicians in general, like what their stances are? Or do you
Well, I
ask
talk
every
to
day
those
other
people.
people?
I talk to those people. I try to find people that they work with or work for, and I also talk to random people around the town and see what their uh, ideas are about people. I don't tell them anything as far as, well, you know, I don't get into discussion and say, well, I think this or I think that. I just ask them, I say, who you voting for? If you don't mind me asking, and they'll say, oh, I'm voting for so and so. I said, you know anything about him? I go, you know, this could be a life changing moment for you to get the right person in, you know, and that kind of suckers them into asking or answering questions, and they'll ask me questions and stuff, and I say, well, I'm undecided. That's why I'm asking people, you know, and I've already done some research on them, and some of the things they'll tell me, I'll use that to look a little deeper into different people. I mean, a lot of deception from politicians that are running for office and ones that are trying to keep the job that they're screwing up. And a lot of people aren't aware of it. I mean, I have a senator here. I'll call him Senator Testicle, and a lot of people understand who that is that live here. And he claims to be a big time rancher and all this other stuff. When his dad died, he willed him the farm, and actually it's a big ranch, and he was running it into the ground. He wasn't getting much done with it. He almost went bankrupt and lost the farm, but he decided to get some of his buddies to rent the farm from him. So he leases a lot of the land out, and then he went into politics, and now he's a multimillionaire. One of the things that really kicks it is he's the largest big pharma representative in Senate. He's taken more money from big pharma than anybody else. And he's, like I said, he's now a multi-millionaire. And he still runs around telling everybody how such a big time farmer. He ain't been out here, but maybe once a year, check on his holdings on his ranch, make sure nobody's tearing it up. That's about it. The guy's he's a big bag of trash, basically.
So like, are you jaded through the whole voting process? Like, do you still go out and vote, or are you going to vote this year?
I'll put to you this way: when I didn't vote until 2000. I voted for Bush because he was the best of the worst, and I knew some of it, but the person that was trying to get in, I definitely didn't want him in. But I never voted before that for, well, it was, I don't know, 40 years, never voted. Because I was in the military, I didn't want my vote to undermine my following orders and stuff and getting politically involved in crap. I've seen guys get their careers destroyed doing that. So I just kind of said, okay, I'm in the military. I'm going to go ahead and do my job. I don't have to vote. It's not a life or death situation for most people. But then once I got out, it's like, okay, now I'll vote and I'll look and see who's doing what and where, put out information and stuff. And that's what we have to do. I mean, we're getting shysters in to run for office, and they're being selected for the job. They're being selected by hires to run for these offices to push the pressure on the slave peasants of their areas or their country. And I've came to the conclusion that politicians really don't care whether or not we live or die. And it's been pretty evident the last couple of years.
So, you don't vote in your local for local government right now?
Oh,
Like
hell no, they'd probably burn my house down if I did, because I'd be firing some people.
I hear that.
Yeah, I've been here, oh, let's see, about 27 years, and I've seen everything that goes on here, and I have dealt with these people because I used to have a construction company, and I had to deal with the town politicians and the city offices and the county office, state office, and I basically learned how to work around them most of the time without having them interfere in what I'm doing. And I knew a lot of them are nothing more than a bunch of idiots that don't know what they're doing 90% of the time. They're just drawing a paycheck. And I would walk into the city office right now if I was mayor, and I would have, on my first day, I would fire off 3/4 of them. I know almost everybody in there, unless they've been hired in the last couple of weeks. I know almost every one of them. right now I'm the city trapper. They call me when they have a wild animal that they have to get out of the city because their insurance doesn't allow the dog catcher to catch wild animals. And he said, "Hey, I need you to help me here." And I said, "Okay." I don't draw a paycheck from the city because
You
I
should.
may only do it once or twice a month, if that. Sometimes I don't get called for 3 or 4 months, but when the need arises, I go in there and take care of the problem and go about my business.
Hmm.
But I've been also kicked out of the city and county meetings too because they just don't like the questions I was asking,
So when you go to
even though I
these
have a freedom of speech.
right. So when you go to these little meetings, are you bringing up issues in that local area, or are you just talking like in a
Oh yeah.
grander scale?
No,
Okay.
I bring up the things like, why are we putting down X amount of money on the voting platform now for the school systems? You're taking away more stuff than you're adding to it. Where's the money going? And it's like, oh, well, we're not talking about that right now. Get back with us later. And then they have me escorted out.
Wow. Yeah, that makes no sense. Like, why have a public forum if you can't bring up things that interest you?
Rarely, yeah, rarely does anything ever come of the questions asked by the people. I mean, I've heard people ask some really good questions, and the politicians. Hold on a
Oh,
minute. Hold on a minute. That was my alarm going off
I
here.
really hope so, because somebody in the chat
Newsflash.
mentioned somebody in the chat mentioned about Korea and U.S. launching some missiles, and I'm over here hearing your alarm. I'm like, oh no, that is
Yeah,
not a
no.
good sign.
Something you had to know about North Korea. North Korea has not fired off a nuclear weapon. They fire off a couple daggone missiles just to scare the crap out of Japan because they want Japan. They want to be able to rule everybody in their little area there because they're not too far from Japan. It scares the crap out of everybody. Fear
Yeah.
porn is what drives a society to be coherent to the fact that the government wants you to do things. I mean, they've been doing it to us, and old Kim Il Sung hadn't fired one for a long time, and then all of a sudden Uncle Joe gets in there and he's fired off 2 of them so far, but they weren't. There wasn't anything in there. And China doesn't want him to have a nuclear weapon to throw out there just to play around with. That's serious business. So he just fires off a rocket now and then, saying, "Oh yeah, I got this new rocket." They didn't build it; they got it from China. China says, "Yeah, here, go play with this, Kim, and take some of the heat off of us." That's what it comes down to. I mean,
People
Russia
want to play with their
controls
new
China.
toys.
Huh?
People wanting to play with their new toys.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. They give him some toys to play with to keep his mouth shut and keep him on his side of the border. Like I said yesterday on one platform, I was at guard post Olet up on the border of North and South Korea,
Hmm.
and they got electric fence down there. They'll damn near vaporize a person.
Oh wow.
We seen it one night on camera. We were watching it with the night vision camera, and somebody went up there, and I don't know if they touched it or walked into it, but all you seen was this bright glowing light for about 15 seconds, and then there was nothing. It's
Oh
like,
wow.
holy crap, how many volts is going through that bad boy? And
Oof.
it was only about 30 meters outside our perimeter. It scared the crap out of the guys on guard because they'd never seen that. And we played that over and over for everybody to say, don't touch this fence. This is what happens to you. And it showed
Wow.
this guy getting fried.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about a wall here, but these people got electric fence. I mean, nobody's saying anything
that's
about
a
that.
that's a pretty good deterrent,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that was that was really really freaky. I mean, it's like boom! Wow, what was that? And we ran it back, and You see somebody walking up to the fence, and all of a sudden, bright light, and nobody's there. Did they explode
So
or
they just
vaporize?
they just become dust. That's nuts,
Yeah,
man.
instant death.
That's some scary stuff. Huh.
And we,
I
we,
want
we talk about putting up a barbed wire fence on the border, and they cut through it and walk on in like nobody's business. You cut this fence down there, it'll turn your whole existence in upside down.
Yeah, it's I saw a clip. I saw. I don't know if it was a. I don't know if this was supposed to be a funny clip or it was an actual clip of this news anchor woman talking about like how insecure the borders are, and right as she was just talking to the camera, she just you can just see somebody like just chilling on top of the wall with some
Yeah.
binoculars looking around for people to like bring over, and he just jumps down like nonchalant, like crouching, like he's in a video game. Just I'm like, it's really not doing much. It's really not doing
Just
much.
about anywhere else in the world, if you cross a border, they're either going to arrest you or shoot you. Or in North Korea, they'll just vaporize you.
Not here,
But
apparently.
no, not here. Oh, that's inhumane. You can't let them hang off the wall and stuff. You're making a severe obstacle for them. We're trying to keep them out of the country. They got their
Right.
own country. Let their own politicians. The people are so programmed to exist in the country that they finally wake up and decide they're going to come to America to do something, and we don't know what their intentions are or why they get there. But what really blows my mind is these people come up here like they've gone 2,500 miles on foot. They show up, they're still fat, they got little kids with them, they're in clean clothes and playing on a cell phone. I thought that was a third world country.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I've been to third world countries where people don't dress like that. They just have whatever they've got available to them, which is probably as old as they are, hand me
What's up, Shep?
downs.
Right.
But these people are actually being brought up here to infiltrate the United States, and they throw in women and children in there. And we don't know what the intent for that is. Maybe it's going into some kind of a human slavery of death, or
Hey,
maybe
Shorty.
it's going into just infiltrating the system and putting them all on welfare and sucking us dry. We don't know that. A lot of people won't even think about that. We don't do that. Yeah, we do. Look at the daggone inner cities. I mean, they wanted to keep the minorities in check, so they developed inner cities, and not very many people escape the inner city. And some of them just say, okay, stay here, do what you want. We won't mess with you. Here's some dope to sell and make some money with, and everything's fine. And they put them in prison, and all we done was extend their life expectancy.
Hmm.
You don't have the gang wars in prison like they do on the street, because in the street they've got black marketed weapons and stuff that they can use on each other and clear out their competition, or just
Speaking
to
of
raise heck with the citizens and keep them under control.
right, speaking of weapons, I saw this. I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounded interesting. Where I think it was in New York, right? That somebody did like 3D printing of some guns
Oh yeah, yeah,
to for them to buy back, and he got them to buy like 21,000 dollars worth of 3D
yeah.
printed guns.
That just goes to show you that even the cops don't know what the heck they're doing 90% of the time, because they're buying these weapons, and you can look at a 3D weapon and see that it's not functional.
Yeah.
Drop it on the floor and watch it fall apart. But they do that. That's just to propagandize the news, because all of our news that we get from MSM, who's always reporting on stuff like that,
Hmm.
is nothing but a bunch of propaganda to throw fear into people. oh no, we can't have 3D printers because people are making weapons. Yeah, well, they're making a lot of other stuff with a 3D printer. Why outlaw them?
You can make a
You know?
house with 3D printing.
Yeah. Well,
Right, you
they're
can make
making
housing
the.
for all the people that are coming over, or just for the people that are here. You know.
Don't bring them up here, man. No, but something that people don't understand is they try to throw this fear into people because they have literally taught us to comply with everything around us and that the government will take care of everything. And the worst things you ever want to hear the government say is, hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. You know it's going to go downhill from that point on because the government has not ever been able to do anything without destroying things.
I want the government to
They
help me
go
vote.
in,
How are they gonna help me
yeah.
vote?
Show me which people I need to vote for.
Yeah,
I
tell
don't
me
know
who's
anything
who's
about
the
the.
good
Oh,
guy, who's the
vote for
bad
these
guy.
people.
Yeah, who's the
Yeah.
good guy right now?
There's good people in government, but there's also the people in control who were picked for the job because they belong to a certain fraternity or they made the grade as far as buy-offs and blackmail and stuff. Those are the people that they put into the high offices. And that's what really kicks it is a lot of these people will just sit there and blatantly lie to you. They spend 2 years promising you the world, spend 2 years after election trying to figure out how to get out of the daggone promises, and they spend 2 more years promising the world to get reelected. They haven't accomplished a damn thing. I mean, our system has not passed any real laws that affect the humans on this continent or in this country a better life, better jobs, better food. None of our services have gotten any better. Our roads are still crappy. They're always going out there and repaving roads, or they just throw some hot patch in a hole, and a month later the hole's bigger than it was before they put the hot patch in it.
You would think
You know,
that there would be
they
enough
can't get their
innovation to just do like a one-time shot, but then again, you wouldn't be able to justify, all the union workers to do
giving
their
your
job.
relatives a road contract.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah, keep it in the family.
you just never know because if you get rid of those jobs, like how many other like minimum wage jobs can they do? You can't really live
They
off of
don't have
minimum
to,
wage, so you
but
have
they
to
don't
go to
have to be
union
minimum
jobs.
wage. You
Are
don't
you
have to
against
be
union? Are
minimum
you against
wage.
union jobs?
Huh?
Are you against union jobs
I look at it
or
this
or
way:
unions in general?
unions. I was in a union one time before I got kicked out of it.
Okay,
Believe it or not, I was kicked out of the union.
you're just a ray of sunshine wherever you go,
Oh
huh?
yeah, I'm a ray of sunshine. I my whole life has been to find solutions to problems, and
Right,
I found the solutions, but nobody wants to listen to them.
right.
I mean, we built, and I worked on a road construction crew for 6 months, and I understand why they build the roads the way they do. It's so they can get another contract to fix the same crap they fixed last year to keep the business going. And
Right.
these are multi-million-dollar
It's
road
kind of like your
construction
healthcare professions.
subcontractors controlled by a larger
Yeah,
corporation.
it's kind of like the healthcare system, right? They keep you
Yeah,
sick, so you keep coming back. BP in the chat
exactly. It's all
mentioned
money laundering.
BP in the chat mentioned that they used ground up tires for roads.
Some places they do. They use it in the asphalt. They literally shred them up and use them in the asphalt to make the asphalt more pliable, as they say, but actually it doesn't make the road any better. It just guarantees that they'll be back next year to resurface the road, and they'll bring in massive amounts of equipment to rip off all that crap down to the concrete structure and then lay down a new base. Or they just scar it with one machine and then they go in there and attach another coating to it. Then a few years later, to go back in, they rip it all out and then they go and spend years putting in a stretch of highway. I mean, look at the interstate system. If anybody's out there running, you see it. Sometimes you go running down the road that you've gone down and everything was fine, and all of a sudden you get this massive mess of traffic that throws you to one side of the interstate, and they're ripping up 20 miles and putting down new concrete and road
They do
bed
that.
and
They do that in PA here
huh?
too a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't we make the roads like the Romans? I mean, hell, a lot of the Roman roads are still being used today in Europe, and they got heavy trucks on them.
Wow.
Some of those roads, they've just gone over them and put some asphalt over them to make them a little more smoother because they made them out of stone and gravel. But those roads are thousands of years old and they're still used. We can't make one to last 10 years. And I live next to an interstate and they're always working on that thing. Ground
Yeah.
shifts and things fall apart.
Just to on a side note, I just want to mention for PA, for people in PA, if you know this, let me know. Apparently in PA, right now in Pennsylvania, a rare event is taking place as there is a huge sale on items at the state-run wine and spritz stores. I think this is having like a half off or discounts. I don't know if it's for alcohol or just items there, but just to let you guys know, if you're in the Pennsylvania area, man, just go get yourself some half off products. You can go online and go get yourself some products that you know you might
Yeah,
want
get
for
drunk and then
discount.
go vote next month. Stay drunk
Exactly.
till yeah.
Exactly.
Pacify the people.
Speaking of getting drunk, what's up, area? No, I'm just kidding. Half off booze, yeah, hell yeah. Um, So I was gonna mention. Oh, and another thing, I saw this morning. There was a gentleman on TikTok mentioning about the elections. I think it's in Illinois, and one of the things that's going to be on the ballot for people to vote for is to help to have workers have the right to negotiate their pay for unions or if they're in the union.
And they should.
Yeah, so if you're in the Illinois area and you're going to go vote, that's one of the things you're going to be voting for. So that seems to be a good thing. So that way you can negotiate your pay at least, right? Tradesmen should be able to live comfortably, just like those business owners, right?
The only
You can't
problem
be a
is there
doctor, you can't be a lawyer, but you can be a bricklayer or a welder and still have a good, decent quality of life and income. That's all I'm saying.
I know plumbers who can make really good money. And I know guys who own plumbing companies and make a lot of money. And just be aware that when you get into a union, you'll be approached to join certain fraternities.
Yeah.
And once you join those fraternities, from that point on, your life is being controlled. I've got one of my cousins who's in the heating and air, and he was approached and had to join the Masons to advance. His brother is a
Can you
plumber,
explain that again?
and
I'm sorry.
he
Can you
does the
explain that
same
again?
thing.
Can you
Huh?
explain that again?
I said, when you get into a trade right now, and depending on where you're at, you will be approached to join certain societies. One of my cousins who is a heating and air specialist, and he does a lot of work on government contracts, like for the state and the cities and stuff where he's around where he lives at. He was approached and he became a mason. Now he's a Shriner. And I asked him about that. He said, well, I can't go into detail about it, but it's been really profitable for me. I said, well, how much crap do you have to do that you don't abide by? And he wouldn't say anything. He knows he's into this crap. His brother is in it. Both of his brothers are in it. And they make a lot of money, but they're being blackmailed into different things, or they're being paid off to do certain things of a sub-level grade. And it's a vicious world that these people have created. that you have to have these certain things in your life basically to control you. And
So
that's
what do you
what they
mean?
do. They control you.
Right. So what do
Huh?
you mean? Like if you're in a union, right, and then you're saying that you're getting approached by a different organization to try and like corrupt you so that they have control of you. Talking like mafia or things like that.
Well, it's basically who controls the unions is the mafia.
Gotcha.
I mean, you research it, you'll see it. The mafia controlled a lot of things before it started spreading out into the other areas of the United States. New York's damn near everything in New York that is ran by a company is ran by a union. Not everything, but a lot of things are. Your transportation, your school systems, your city workers, your state workers, all that stuff's by union. Who's controlling all that money? I mean, look at Chicago. They have one of the wealthiest retirement programs for teachers who actually make what they made before they retired. They continue to get those benefits, and it rapes the money away from the daggone people. It takes it
So
out of their pockets, paying the high union dues. It takes it from their benefit because they have to abide by certain rules. And anytime you have one person over another stating the facts of the job, that I don't want you to do this, you can't do that, this is the only thing you can do, that's a form of government. And with that form of government, you have a standing inside the organization that is just exactly like the government. You'll have a president or a head or a CEO and his lieutenants going down. You got vice presidents of different areas. I know guys who were vice. I know a guy who was vice president of Weyerhaeuser, who makes paper. His sole job was to fly around the United States and see where they were cutting, make sure they were making their quotas, making sure they got their stuff on the rails in time to be shipped to different places. And this was a continental company. Weyerhaeuser goes all the way into Canada for logging, but he ran all over the United States and part of Canada, making sure and hiring and firing uh, directors for those areas. He was a very powerful guy in the union, but here's a really cool part about it: he's dumber than dog shit. He couldn't change a tire. He just called somebody to do the dirty work. He never knew how to fix his drain. He never knew how to change out a lock on the door of his house.
yeah, I guess it
And
just goes back to like the big contractor. You can pretty much subcontract a lot of the work, right? That's usually
well, a
how
lot
they
of
do it.
people are taught you don't need to get your hands dirty. You don't need to do this. Here's where you need to get this person or that person or these things.
I've
And
seen a lot of that on TikTok. You have people trying to teach people how to get government contracts and just
yeah,
sublet the work to other people, and you just get a good chunk of the money. You know,
I
that's
know a
pretty
few
much
people
how
that
it
do
is.
that. I know a few
Yeah,
people that do that, and it's like it's a Ponzi scheme. You know,
right.
you think in our society we have this thing that everybody cooperates. It's a society, but then you break it down, and our society destroys cultures. We have an American culture here, and they've destroyed it. You can't travel freely because if you're going down the highway and a cop sees you and he doesn't like the state that is stamped on your license plate, he pulls you over and gives you some fictitious bullshit about how you didn't signal 400 feet before you turn, or you didn't um, you didn't stop at the precise spot behind the white line near the intersection. You were 2 feet over, and that's all to make money for the city because cops are nothing more than security guards for the city. They're going on felonious laws. A lot of them say you don't have any rights. Only right you have is to go to jail. and they'll take you to jail for some small thing, make you sit in jail for sometimes days or weeks on end before somebody said, no, let him go. We can't push this. And you see some cops that get drug into court, they get their asses sued, and they're stuck for millions because they violated somebody's constitutional rights.
It's
You
all
know,
like a
it's
big contradiction. For those of you that are just
yeah,
joining
it's a
us,
big money laundering
right?
organization. What it is, because if you go to court, you can't talk until the judge, the god of the court, his honor of some sort, gives you permission to talk. Other than that, you have to hire a mouthpiece. And hopefully, your mouthpiece that you've hired tells them what you want them to hear and not what he wants them to hear so he can make money and his prosecutor buddy and him go out drinking and laugh about how they screwed your case up and got you 10 years in prison for some little menial thing like, say, you had a joint in the car. Boom, some states you go to jail for 10 years
Yeah, I've
or
had that
longer.
experience myself. I had to go to court.
Yeah.
I couldn't really talk much, and it was for smoking in a public area. I didn't even
Once
know
you go
I
past
can't
that gate,
smoke.
once you go past that gate in a court, you must remain silent, or anything you say will be held in contempt.
Yeah.
And what is that contempt? Contempt of what? They don't explain that to you. They just throw you in jail for 10 days for contempt of court. You know, you're not even really allowed to sneeze, cough, or take a deep breath and hold it and then let it out.
For those of you that are
You're
just joining us,
non-living.
hold on. For those of you that just joining us, we're talking with Raccoon, a retired military man, right? That's a safe
Yep.
assessment, and he's
Yep.
just giving us a wealth of information from his brain this early in the morning. Um, so yeah, man, it's it's some crazy
It's a rigged
shenanigans.
system.
Yeah, it's all and it's all our doing, right? Not just like not like you and me, but those that are in the system, because it's all about manipulating it to try and benefit yourself. That's usually how it is in anything that you join, in anything that you do. All those prisons are for wait, what? Are for big profits. Yes. More money
All the
for each prisoner. Yep.
all them prisons are also privately owned prisons. There are no state ran prisons. They're state funded by the
Did I
tax
hear that
money to
Michael
keep.
Jordan owns some prisons?
Yeah.
Okay, just wondering. Um, so Starbucks, what? So Starbucks unionizes. Are they going to have journeyman journeyman baristas?
Baristas. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
I went to
I never heard that.
Starbucks one time. They asked me, "Do you want creamer with your coffee?" I said, "What kind of creamer you have?" He said, "Well, we have soy latte. We have almond milk." And I go, "You have anything that has an udder?"
According to Shep, you can milk anything with nipples. So,
I
hey.
ain't seen a nipple on a daggone nut in a long time, man. I've walked through fields of soybeans and I've never seen them leaking milk either right before harvest.
You just gotta know where to squeeze, baby. You just gotta know where to squeeze. Hold on. Somebody was trying to call in. Was somebody trying to call in? Okay, I guess not. Yeah. I have yet to find a good. A, well, I know you don't believe in it, but I'm a vegan. That's just what I am right now. But I haven't really found a good milk alternative that I enjoy, right? I was never really a milk drinker, only in like cereal or coffee, but I know people that can just chug a gallon with no problem. I have yet to find like an alternative milk that I can just drink with no problem, like rice milk or oat milk or whatever like that.
It
I
all
just
gives you
leave it for my coffee.
a lot of those different kinds of fake milk that they put out. are hazardous to the body when taken in excess.
Yeah.
They cause different kinds of organ
They
and
probably use a
muscle
lot of
problems,
preservatives and stuff, right?
joints. Yeah, well, there's a lot of derivatives in all that processed stuff to make it taste so daggone good. And a lot of times, if you look on it, it says natural flavor enhancers are added to it for freshness and all this other crap.
Right.
They don't tell you what those flavor enhancers are. I know a bunch of them are,
I
and
mean, in all
people don't like to
fairness,
hear that.
isn't that the same process that they do with just regular milk? Like it has to go through a
No,
process for it to be able to. You can't just stick your mouth on an udder and just drink this shit for
no,
nothing.
I've hand milked cows and goats before, and I'll tell you what, the
Mm.
milk is completely different,
Oh, I believe it.
and it's
Yeah.
better for you.
Right.
But again, if you drink too much raw milk, you can have problems, like diarrhea, or you can have different kinds of things that happen to your blood. But they pasteurize milk, and basically what they're doing is they're trying to kill anything in the milk.
Right.
And when they do that, it also drops down the calcium content of the milk because it sticks itself to the sides of the pot that it's boiling in.
Right.
So they had to put in a calcium derivative, and you see that on the label. There's a calcium added to it, but it's not milk calcium.
Right.
It's a derivative
Casein?
calcium that they've
Casein.
gotten from something else.
Right. Huh. Yeah, we're. Oh damn! Another bombing.
Yeah.
It's another missile
Hope you
being
don't live in
launched.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another bomb scare.
Oh man. Take care. Take care, Duke. Um the beats are starting, yeah. So what is Halloween looking like for you over there in your neck of the woods? You guys are dressing up in that little small community you live in?
All the kids will go out there and celebrate Satan. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious. That's what it's doing.
Right.
They're playing evil spirits and zombies and crap, But
Uh-huh.
you know what November 1st is that we don't celebrate?
No. What?
All Saints Day.
Oh.
Ain't that weird? It's always been
Wow.
that way. Always had an All Saints Day after Halloween.
Mm. It seems like a
Halloween's
lot of
a recent, well, it's a recent holiday within the last 125, 130 years. Before that, nobody knew what the hell Halloween was.
right.
All Hallows Eve.
For those who might need a little lesson, what would that be? All Saints Day.
All Saints Day is where the saints come down and run off all the spirits that came out on Hallows Eve
Mm.
and puts them back in their place. Yeah, it's a Catholic holiday. That should tell you right there that it's bad.
Right. Yeah. All that stuff is so fun. So fun to know.
I can tell you a lot about a lot of the holidays, and most of the holidays we have are not what you think they are.
Oh, they never
Okay.
are, right? Because they try to make it,
Yeah, but there's
PG
completely
for
different
everybody.
meaning. There's different meaning to them than what they told us about.
Right.
I
Well, I
mean,
know like the differences in Easter or maybe like Valentine's Day, they were pretty negative, the actual meanings of it, right? I'm sure.
when was Osiris's son born? Osiris is an Egyptian god. What day was his son born? On the
Uh,
longest dark day of the year.
mm, December 25th, says
25
Tears.
December. Yep.
Is it? Oh, wow. Okay.
But you have to understand that that was thrown in there to us, and a lot of people don't realize. And I get this from a lot of preachers because they're oblivious to it.
Mm.
Okay, we celebrate Christmas as Jesus' birthday, but Jesus wasn't born in December. Okay. And here's a solemn fact of life.
Okay.
They were there in Bethlehem for the census. They went to Bethlehem for the census, and Mary was pregnant.
What do you mean census? Like
Okay.
the census report, like they have
Counting
to do here?
heads.
Okay.
Counting heads is what it comes down to. That's what census means, is counting heads. They
Did
want
they
to make sure people are
did they
from where
check
they're
if everybody
supposed to
was
be.
vaccinated too? Did they want to? No, never mind.
Well,
Go ahead.
probably did back then. I don't know. I don't think they had steel needles yet,
All
but
right.
they probably just jabbed you with a knife and poured some stuff in your arm or your butt. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
that was during the census. And during the census, they also have a congregation of people at the same time celebrating Passover.
Hmm.
Jesus was born during the Passover. The Passover means from old to new.
Mm.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, keep that in mind for a minute.
Okay.
He spends 32 years. 32 is a very prominent point.
People are always big on
He
numbers.
dies during Passover from old to new. His death was a sign of a new time coming. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that, because shepherds only guard their flocks while the eaves are giving birth in the springtime. They don't have random births all year round. The grazing animals only breed at a certain time of the year, and they have their babies during a certain time of the year. And it's usually during the freaking Passover. They would take the lambs who were brand new, innocent, haven't done anything wrong, and they sacrifice them to a god.
That's just
Passover.
wrong. Right. That's
Yeah.
just wrong. Yeah, I know.
It's kind of hard to understand that we've been lied to about everything, because, like I say a lot on podcasts, history is written by the victors, drunk or sober.
You know, that would be for
Yeah,
some
Bill, that
interesting.
sounds good. Write it down.
Yeah. That would be for some interesting content, man. So I'm sure you'll be able to provide a lot of that here and on many different podcasts. So make sure to write a book or something so we can hear more of it.
They probably wouldn't put it on the New York Times bestseller list. They would probably burn it before it got out of the
Oh, you
factory.
probably would have to pay for it. Don't worry. If I think with enough money, you'll get there. Tier says we need Henny J to explain it. Yeah, probably. But Raccoon, that's going to be my time, my friend. Thank you very much for jumping on the call and
Thanks for having me on.
yeah, buddy. You're always welcome. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in for this installment of Coffee with RW. Yours truly, Ralph William. And for those of you that are interested in the Coffee with RW extended version right after, just be on the lookout when I pop up, and you can enjoy your Hump Day Wednesday with some tunage and get everything situated for your Wednesday. I want to say thank you for those that are joined us. Hobo Chillin', Outside of Normal, Tears, Fair Use, Handy J, that's it. Did I say Hobo Chillin'? Raccoon 6, everybody, you know who you are. Thank you very much for being here. Also, I want to say again, make sure to follow me on Twitter at the Ralph William. Follow the internet station at WESN Radio on Twitter as well. Go to epicstrategiesnetwork.com. Help us out with a donation. Help keep us going. And I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Remember, stay humble, stay hungry, and you'll always be blessed. Take care. Peace. I'll catch you in a few minutes.
Excuse me, I'm choking on my coffee. Hey, does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? I just made a fresh pot of coffee. Does anybody want coffee?
Conversations about society, one cup at a time. Coffee with RW.
Un cafecito.
Pour yourself a cup and join us.
Es un cafecito.
Wisconsin State
I love it when the coffee kicks in and I realize what an adorable badass bitch I'm gonna be today.